Now, on an earlier dive, we got into the Marconi room. And Parks, why don't you tell us the significance of that room?
Well, the Marconi transmitter was the voice of the ship, really. If it hadn't been for the Marconi operator's ability to talk to other ships in the area, nobody would have known that Titanic was sinking with the possible loss of all life on board. They couldn't have called for the rescue ships, the Carpathia, that eventually showed up and rescued the survivors.
All right, well, let's take a look at the Marconi room now.
We are just outside the door, which is going to take us to the Marconi room. And we're about to enter that right now and have a look around and try to answer some questions that that have been bothering us since the last expedition here. I think we are in. All right, these are the dynamo. This is the dynamo, which has a motor. It's a motor generator combination. And right ahead of us is the control panel that Parks wants us to image. So it looks like it's still standing. And look at these regulators. This is incredible. You see the knife switch down, the left knife switch is down.
The right one appears to be up, if I'm
The right one is
correctly.
up, but that makes sense. This is the incoming current, and that's the outgoing.
Yeah.
So they were sending right up till the end.
And the settings are still in the same position they were the night it went down.
Yep. This is right where Jonathan Phillips switched off the set. There's the knife switch in the down position. The handle's gone. But the question is, if they worked right up till the end and seawater was pouring in the door, would you stand there and grab the handle on a 440-volt breaker? I don't know too many people that would. So either he was incredibly brave, or they left earlier than Bride said they did later.
The night before the disaster, the Marconi transmitter broke, and no messages could be sent out. With a ship full of rich and powerful people, all wanting to send news home from the maiden voyage, the two young men did what they were absolutely not supposed to do. They fixed it themselves.
Marconi maintenance manual says you're supposed to go on battery power, which gives you a range of about 80 miles or so, as opposed to the normal 250 plus miles. And the operators were supposed to leave it for a Marconi engineer to fix once they got back ashore. But Phillips and Bride went in there that night, spent 6 hours in the silent room, troubleshooting the fault. They found a short in the secondary winding of the transformer. They fixed it, put it back together, tested it, and the transmitter was as good as new.
This was state-of-the-art technology. These guys, you know, Phillips and Bride, they were like the computer, you know, geniuses, computer geeks of their time. And look at these regulators. You can see the left one is cranked all the way over. They were really trying to get the spark up as much as they could as the ship was dying. You can see it right here. Parks will be able to make something out of this.
Is the wooden handle on that one still intact? It appears to be.
Yeah, let's get up there and see that. And this is what we came here for.
There's something there.
Oh, there's some writing.
There, volts.
Volts, absolutely. Look at that.
Nice. Part of Titanic's technological hallmarks is this.
That's right, and part of what made the story so powerful was the rescue. The people who were saved, the 703 who were saved because of this machine. You know, we're in a wireless age right now. Everybody's, you know, it's wireless everything. But this was the first wireless device. The turn of the last century, it was a wireless age as well, and people were enamored of this technology. There's something there. I don't know what that is, a connector or... Oh, you know what? I think it's just a lamp. That's a light.
Sitting above to
so
illuminate.
up here above us should be a...
Sure is.
Yeah, there's where the bulb
there
went.
It is.
Yeah, so that was the light that lit the set so they could see it.
You know, it's interesting because some of the technology that was being used at this point, that was being created, that was being developed 100 years later, is the same technology that's being used in this very broadcast.
Well, that's a good point.
A wooden crate.
That's not a wooden crate. That is the cover for the disc discharger.
Uh-huh.
Parks' second favorite piece of equipment that he's always going on about, which we're about to go image. There it is. That's the disc. See the disc? It doesn't look like a disc. It looks like a line from where we
absolutely. Yes, yes, that's right.
are. Now, Parks has managed to somehow piece this all together. Ooh, look, there's some kind of bolts running through that thing. Or maybe those are some kinds of contacts. Ah! I'm getting carried away looking. Okay, I'm going to have to break out of this, which I'll do as gently as I can. And that's about as good as I can do there.
What became of the two men in that room?
Well, they stayed building until very nearly the end, until they could hear the water coming up the deck, I think is what Harold Bride said. And both of them left, and they both jumped overboard. Jack Phillips was never seen again, but Harold Bride did survive.
And was he seen as a hero when he got back to home?
Well, they both were, absolutely. Jack Phillips more so for having died, but because they did stay at their posts until the very end and continued to transmit, they were responsible for the rescue of everyone.
Interesting. That is a very critical room in this whole exploration.